Panama. It's a name that, honestly, often brings to mind a famous canal, or maybe even a particular style of hat. Yet, this small nation, a slender isthmus connecting two vast continents, actually holds a story far grander than its modest size might suggest. It's a place where geography itself seems to have conspired to shape human destiny. Its narrowness, just 50 miles at its slimmest point, has been both a blessing and a source of immense struggle. This strip of land has witnessed the march of empires, the dreams of engineers, and the relentless flow of global commerce, proving that significance isn't always measured in square miles, but in strategic importance. For centuries, this tiny land bridge has been a fulcrum of world events. It's acted as a natural conduit, first for ancient peoples migrating across the Americas, and later for European explorers seeking new routes to the riches of the East. The very shape of Panama destined it to be a place of passage, a crossroads where cultures would meet, clash, and ultimately merge. Its unique position, linking the mighty Pacific Ocean with the vast Atlantic, has made it an irresistible prize and a critical artery for international trade and travel, a role it continues to fulfill with remarkable tenacity and vision in the modern world. The story of Panama is one of dramatic transformations. It's a narrative filled with breathtaking ambition, incredible feats of engineering, and the enduring spirit of a people striving for sovereignty. From the depths of its rainforests, teeming with unparalleled biodiversity, to the bustling modern metropolis of its capital city, Panama is a land of contrasts. Its history is a microcosm of global power shifts, of colonial ambitions giving way to national identity. It's a testament to how a small place can cast a very long shadow on the world stage, influencing economies and policies far beyond its own borders. Imagine for a moment the sheer audacity of slicing a continent in two just to allow the world's great ships to pass. This was the dream that Panama helped realize. But before this monumental achievement, there were centuries of human drama. Indigenous civilizations thrived here long before European sails appeared on the horizon. Then came conquest, colonial rule, and the long, arduous journey toward self-determination. Each chapter of Panama's past has contributed to its complex and fascinating present, a present where it stands as a key player in the intricate dance of global interconnectedness, a small nation with a truly giant impact. Long before the arrival of European explorers, the land we now call Panama was home to vibrant and diverse indigenous communities. These first peoples, whose ancestors had journeyed across the Bering Strait millennia ago, found in this tropical isthmus a rich environment that could sustain their ways of life. They were skilled hunters, proficient farmers, and talented artisans. Archaeological discoveries reveal sophisticated societies with complex social structures, intricate belief systems, and a deep understanding of their natural surroundings. Their presence shaped the earliest human narrative of this crucial land bridge, a story often overshadowed by later events but, honestly, no less significant. Among these early inhabitants were the Cueva people. They occupied a significant portion of the Darien region, an area known for its dense rainforests and challenging terrain. The Cueva were not a monolithic group, but rather a collection of chiefdoms, each with its own leader and distinct cultural nuances. They lived in villages, cultivated crops such as maize, yucca, and beans, and were adept at fishing and hunting the abundant wildlife. Their lives were intricately woven with the rhythms of nature, a connection that defined their existence for countless generations, before the world they knew was irrevocably changed by outside forces. The Cueva, like many indigenous groups of the Americas, possessed remarkable artistic skills. They were known for their fine gold work, crafting intricate ornaments and figures that held both aesthetic and spiritual value. Their pottery was also distinctive, often decorated with geometric patterns and representations of animals. These artifacts offer us precious glimpses into their worldview, their ceremonies, and their daily lives. Sadly, much of their cultural heritage was lost following European contact, as disease and conflict devastated their populations. Yet, their legacy endures in the land itself and in the continuing presence of other indigenous groups in Panama today. The story of the Cueva is a poignant reminder of the rich human tapestry that existed in the Americas before 1492. Their societies were well established, with traditions and knowledge passed down through generations. They understood the secrets of the rainforest, the patterns of the rivers, and the bounty of the seas. The arrival of the Spanish marked a catastrophic turning point, not just for the Cueva, but for all indigenous peoples of the region. Their encounter was one of profound and tragic consequences, leading to a dramatic decline in their numbers and the erosion of their ancient way of life, forever altering the human landscape of Panama. The early 16th century brought a new and formidable force to the shores of Panama, the Spanish conquistadors. Driven by a quest for gold, glory, and the expansion of their empire, these adventurers irrevocably altered the destiny of the isthmus. In 1501, Rodrigo de Bastidas was the first European to explore the Panamanian coast. He was soon followed by others, including Vasco Núñez de Balboa. It was Balboa who, in 1513, after a grueling trek through dense jungle, famously sighted the Pacific Ocean from a peak in Darien, claiming it and all adjoining lands for the Spanish crown, a pivotal moment in global exploration. The Spanish conquest was a brutal and transformative period. Indigenous populations, including the Cueva, were decimated by European diseases, warfare, and forced labor. Their sophisticated societies were dismantled, their lands seized, and their cultures suppressed under the weight of colonial ambition. In 1519, Pedro Arias Davila, also known as Pedrarias, founded Panama City on the Pacific coast. This was a strategic masterstroke. It became the first permanent European settlement on the Pacific, a crucial base for further Spanish exploration and conquest, particularly southwards towards the Inca Empire in Peru. Panama City rapidly grew in importance, becoming a vital transit point within the vast Spanish Empire. Gold and silver plundered from Peru and other South American territories were transported overland across the isthmus, along the famed Camino Real or the Cruces Trail, to ports like Nombre de Dios and later Portobello on the Caribbean coast. From there, heavily guarded treasure fleets would sail to Spain. This gold road made Panama a target for pirates and privateers, including the infamous Sir Francis Drake and Henry Morgan, whose daring raids underscored the immense wealth passing through this narrow land. For nearly 3 centuries, Panama served as a linchpin of Spanish colonial power in the Americas. Its role as a conduit for riches shaped its economy, its society, and its very identity. The influx of Spanish settlers, enslaved Africans brought to carry the burdens of labor, and the surviving indigenous peoples created a complex, hierarchical colonial society. While the Spanish Empire extracted immense wealth, the isthmus itself experienced periods of boom and bust, its fortunes tied directly to the flow of treasure and the strategic calculations of a distant European power, laying the groundwork for future struggles and aspirations. After almost 300 years under Spanish dominion, the winds of change began to blow across Latin America, and Panama was no exception. The early 19th century saw a surge in movements for independence, inspired by Enlightenment ideals and the success of revolutions elsewhere. Spain's grip on its colonies weakened, partly due to internal turmoil and the Napoleonic Wars in Europe. In Panama, the local elite, weary of Spanish mercantilist policies and eager for greater autonomy, saw an opportunity to chart their own course. This desire for self-rule simmered beneath the surface of colonial life, just waiting for the right moment to ignite. That moment arrived on November 28, 1821. Following the lead of other regions in the Americas, Panama declared its independence from Spain. This was achieved relatively peacefully, without the prolonged and bloody wars that characterized independence struggles in many other parts of the continent. The Spanish governor was persuaded to depart, and a new chapter began. However, this newfound freedom was immediately followed by a decision that would shape Panama's destiny for the next 80 years. The isthmus voluntarily joined Simon Bolivar's newly formed Republic of Gran Colombia, a federation that also included present-day Colombia, Venezuela, and Ecuador. The union with Gran Colombia, and later with its successor state, the Republic of New Granada, which eventually became Colombia, proved to be a challenging period for Panama. While Panama City retained some of its historical importance as a transit hub, the central government in Bogotá often neglected the isthmus's specific needs and interests. Panamanians felt marginalized, their economic development stifled, and their calls for greater political autonomy largely ignored. This led to a growing sense of frustration and a desire for more direct control over their own affairs, fostering a distinct Panamanian identity, separate from that of mainland Colombia. Throughout the 19th century, Panama experienced numerous attempts to secede from Colombia or to gain greater federal rights. These movements, sometimes peaceful, sometimes involving armed uprisings, reflected a persistent yearning for self-determination. The strategic importance of the isthmus, particularly with the California gold rush increasing transit across Panama, only heightened the desire for local control. These repeated struggles for autonomy underscored the unique geographical and historical circumstances of Panama, laying the groundwork for the dramatic events that would unfold at the dawn of the 20th century, ultimately leading to full independence. The idea of a canal across the Panamanian Isthmus, a waterway connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, was not new. It had been dreamt of since the early days of Spanish colonization. Such a passage would revolutionize global trade and maritime navigation, saving ships the long and perilous journey around Cape Horn. However, the sheer scale of the engineering challenge, coupled with the difficult tropical environment, meant that for centuries it remained little more than an ambitious fantasy. It was a dream that captivated engineers and emperors alike, a testament to human aspiration to reshape the very planet. In the late 19th century, the French, buoyed by their success with the Suez Canal, took on the monumental task. Under the leadership of Ferdinand de Lesseps, construction began in 1881. However, the French effort was plagued by enormous difficulties. The tropical diseases of malaria and yellow fever claimed thousands of lives. The terrain was far more challenging than the deserts of Egypt, with torrential rains, dense jungle, and unstable soil leading to landslides. Financial mismanagement and corruption also took their toll, and by 1889 the French company went bankrupt, the dream seemingly shattered amidst immense human and financial cost. The United States had long recognized the strategic importance of an Isthmian canal, particularly for its naval power and burgeoning international trade. Following the French failure, American interest intensified. When Colombia hesitated to ratify a treaty granting the United States rights to build a canal, the U.S. government, under President Theodore Roosevelt, saw an opportunity. In 1903, with tacit American support, Panama declared its independence from Colombia. The United States quickly recognized the new Panamanian government and, just days later, signed the Hay-Bunau-Varilla Treaty, granting the United States control over a 10-mile-wide canal zone in perpetuity. The construction of the Panama Canal by the United States from 1904 to 1914 was one of the greatest engineering feats in human history. Under the direction of figures like John Frank Stevens and George Washington Goethals, and with crucial medical breakthroughs by Dr. William C. Gorgas in combating mosquito-borne diseases, the immense project moved forward. Tens of thousands of workers from around the world toiled under harsh conditions to excavate mountains, build enormous locks, and create the vast Gatun Lake. Finally, on August 15, 1914, the Panama Canal officially opened, forever changing the face of global maritime transport and solidifying Panama's place on the world map. While the opening of the Panama Canal was a triumph of engineering and a boon for global trade, the terms of the 1903 treaty cast a long shadow over Panamanian sovereignty. The United States controlled the Canal Zone, a strip of territory that effectively bisected the country, operating it as an American enclave with its own laws, police force, and administration. This arrangement became an increasing source of resentment and nationalist sentiment among Panamanians who felt that their nation's most valuable asset was under foreign domination. The desire to reclaim full control over the canal and the Canal Zone became a central theme in Panamanian politics for decades. Throughout the mid-20th century, tensions periodically flared. Incidents like the 1964 flag riots, where Panamanian students were killed during protests demanding the right to fly their flag in the Canal Zone, highlighted the depth of national feeling. These events spurred negotiations between Panama and the United States, albeit slowly and often contentiously. Panamanians yearned for true independence, not just in name but in practice, which meant regaining jurisdiction over their entire territory and benefiting more fully from the canal's operations. This struggle for sovereignty defined much of Panama's relationship with the United States during this period. The latter part of the 20th century saw the rise of General Manuel Noriega, a complex and controversial figure who became the de facto ruler of Panama in the 1980s. Initially an ally of the United States, Noriega's regime grew increasingly authoritarian and became deeply embroiled in drug trafficking and money laundering. His actions strained relations with the United States and led to international condemnation. The situation escalated, culminating in economic sanctions and growing internal opposition to his rule, creating a period of intense political instability and hardship for the Panamanian people. This turbulent chapter reached a dramatic climax in December 1989 when the United States launched Operation Just Cause, a military invasion of Panama aimed at ousting Noriega and restoring democracy. The invasion, while achieving its primary objective of removing Noriega from power, he was subsequently captured and tried in the United States, resulted in significant property damage and civilian casualties. It remains a painful and debated episode in Panamanian history, underscoring the complexities of its relationship with its powerful northern neighbor, even as the nation looked towards a future with full control of its vital waterway. The dawn of a new millennium marked a pivotal moment for Panama. On December 31, 1999, in accordance with the Torrijos-Carter treaties signed in 1977, Panama assumed full control and administration of the Panama Canal. This historic handover was a profound symbol of national sovereignty, the culmination of nearly a century of aspiration and struggle. No longer was the nation's most significant asset managed by a foreign power. Panamanians embraced this new era with pride and a determination to prove their capability in managing one of the world's most crucial maritime arteries, ushering in an age of renewed national confidence. Under Panamanian stewardship, the canal has not only continued to operate efficiently, but has also undergone a monumental expansion. Completed in 2016, this ambitious project involved constructing new, larger locks to accommodate the massive Neo-Panamax ships that now dominate global fleets. This foresight has significantly increased the canal's capacity, ensuring its continued relevance in 21st-century international trade and bolstering Panama's economy. Beyond the canal, Panama has cultivated a thriving international banking and finance sector, and its natural beauty, from pristine beaches to lush rainforests, has fueled a growing tourism industry, diversifying its economic base. Panama's identity today is a vibrant tapestry woven from diverse cultural threads. Its population reflects a rich mix of indigenous heritage, Spanish colonial influences, and significant contributions from Afro-Caribbean communities, many of whose ancestors arrived to work on the railroad and the canal. This cultural fusion is evident in its music, from traditional tamborito to salsa and reggae, its lively festivals like the famous Carnival, and its diverse cuisine. The canal itself, once a symbol of foreign presence, is now an integral part of Panamanian national pride, a testament to the country's ability to manage a global asset. In conclusion, Panama's journey has been one of remarkable resilience. From its ancient indigenous roots through colonial domination, the fight for independence, and the complexities of the canal's construction and control, this small nation has consistently punched above its weight on the world stage. It continues to navigate the delicate balance between asserting its sovereignty and embracing its crucial role in global interconnectedness. As a vital hub for trade, finance, and culture, Panama stands today as a dynamic and forward-looking nation, its strategic value undiminished, its spirit unbroken, and its future bright on the world's horizon.